Welcome into Toeing the Line, your quick glimpse at an NFL preview, Week 3, with your host, Joey Nips.
Hey, and you heard it right. It is Week 3. We've made 3 bets so far in Thursday Night Football, looking pretty good. And the Sunday was magic to the Arizona Cardinals from Week 1 and 2. Let's get it all.
Bro, we'll put it like that. What's it like? I was actually there in attendance in Cleveland for Cove's first career NFL touchdown, which was awesome. And,
Awesome.
It was a great game. You could hear me on camera. I was just screaming, "Say it ain't so, Cove! Say it ain't so!" Sadly, from there, the game kind of went off the rails a little. That was the last high moment of that game, but it was a great game. Overtime loss, fun time.
Yeah.
But how was that moment for you? Seeing the first, whether it was on TV, in person, wherever you were, seeing his first NFL touchdown. How was that?
Well, dude, I mean, we were at home because it was a away game. We don't travel to a lot of the away games because we can get into that later. But, to watch that and to think I wished I was there live. So to have your video was so cool. And just, man, this is so cool. I mean, that was so cool for us. Catching it from Tom Brady, right? Like, he's got the ball yet. I mean, first NFL touchdown means a lot, right? I mean, as a dad, that's so cool to see. It was fun to watch. And, it didn't have the outcome we wanted, but still the same. What a memory. What a memory to have, right? So,
and honestly,
cool.
those one of the best guests ever, the Buccateers in the house. You guys hear him on Tampa radio all the time. He's one of the best in the business. My favorite personal in the business. That's why I'm elated tonight. Growing up in the Chicago area, you're used to sports radio. That's what gets me through the day. So this man does help get me through the day, I will say, with the Pat and Aaron show at work. Nothing like it. So it's incredible. It looks like we got Stunna bumbling in. I'm Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Going to put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat Donovan.
It looks like Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like he got a little...
No, my camera's broke.
And he was trying to pull me in big time. And then I was like, nothing's happened with Indianapolis yet. Like, I really want to give Indy a chance. And then also I talked to Cody Gruden. Once he took over Rich McCann, and still like, well, look, I was like, y'all just give me the opportunity to explore free agency, see what's going on, and then kind of make it do it.
All right, everyone, you are tuned into the Buccateers of wide receiver Kalen Geiger, and we are about to have a great pod. This is the Buccateers. You're tapped in, and here we go. Welcome back to Toeing the Line, Week 3, with your host, Joey Nips.
And had to put the thinking cap back on for Week 3. Let me give you a little preview, as always. Thursday Night Football. Nobody circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. Then we get into the AFC South, where clearly I am a happy man. Mickey Jack, yes, sir, hooking me up with this Warren jersey. Also going along the way, what pisses me off? What am I towing the line on this week? And then my Sunday treat. I already gave you a little preview on the past, and we'll talk about the future and close out with all good fashion locker room talk.
It's time for the opening coin toss with Joey Nips.
Now, okay, there's 4 matchups this weekend, 0-2 versus 2-0. We'll talk about that a little bit more. But right now for this game, we have 0-2 Miami at 2-0 Buffalo. Completely, different paths on how we got here, right? Miami struggling. They're letting up a lot of good play to opponents' quarterbacks, while Buffalo is just scoring at will, especially last week in their big victory against the Jets, where the Jets look good week 1, and then the Jets jet in week 2. So we still don't know a lot. I always say you got to wait for 4 games to get a real good feel on teams, right? That's about a quarter of the season. 17 games mess the percentage points up a little bit, but you catch my drift. Miami plus 11.5 and the over-under is 50.5. I'm really kind of staying away from that because I do think there will be scoring done by Miami, but the stat and the bet I love to make right now, you can get it at minus 115 roughly on many websites, is Josh Allen over 233.5 passing yards. Again, Drake May went 19-23 with 2 touchdowns and no interceptions last week against the Fins defense. And Danny Dimes went 22-29 with 3 total touchdowns and no turnovers. I think Josh Allen can get over 233.5. Again, that's at minus 115 right now. Check your local sportsbook and get that. But for the game itself, I'm going with Buffalo. Easy choice. I'll go Buffalo 31, Miami 21. They just slightly cover. I'm not making that bet. It's just my prediction and my spoiler. But my bet will be Josh Allen over passing yards on 233.5. And enjoy Thursday Night Football divisional action.
It's time to take a deep dive into the state of the AFC South. Colts, Texans, Jaguars, Titans with Joey Nips.
I got to laugh a little bit here. My team was laughed at a lot in this offseason, the Indianapolis Colts. And here we are after 2 weeks sitting atop of the division. Like I said, until you get after 4 weeks, can't really judge teams, but I like what I see. Why? Jonathan Taylor's being Jonathan Taylor. Did you see him clock one of the fastest times of running back? I did. Almost hit that 23 miles per hour. And then Danny Dimes does it again. He's just consistent right now. Defense was a little shaky against Denver. But so were the refs in both directions. Everyone saw the leverage play. Bad rule, but it's a rule. We got to re-kick it and we won. You look at Jacksonville, 1-1. Now, here's the thing with Jacksonville. They were 1-0. They started out that Bengals game really well, and then you hear about the Joe Burrow news. But what happens? Veteran backup Browning comes in as always, and it leads into a 31-27 loss. You see Trevor Lawrence kind of waving off Coach Cohen on a play. Don't know really what was up with that. Cohen saying hit him in the chest, and he didn't on the play to the wide receiver. So a little peep show in there. 2-0 Colts, 1-1 Jags in second, and then the most shocking to me is 0-2 Houston. I know they didn't have the first 2 easiest games coming up, but just the way a lot of people question their offense. I said it once on this show, what will happen with the offensive line, but CJ Stroud, he only has 1 touchdown and 1 interception. I mean, there's not a lot cooking there. The highest catches on the team is 6 between Schultz and Nico Collins, 6 apiece. So they got to get something working because we all know that defense is good. One stat I forgot to bring up, though, ladies and gentlemen, with Jacksonville, where they're doing really good and ETN is revived, 7.1 yards per carry. 7.1. That is not easy to do, and he's making it look damn easy right now. So even though they lost, I did need to give the kudos to Mr. ETN on that play. Like I said, back to the Texans, they need a big win. I mean, they play Jacksonville this weekend. One of those teams is going to go to 1-2, and a lot of people give them crap, or the Texans go to 0-3, and then it's like, whoa, 0-3 is a big problem. Like Colts in 18 came back from 1-5 to make the playoffs, but you have to win a lot. You have to win 6 out of 7, 7 out of 8. Anyways, we end with Tennessee. Listen, folks, we expected this for the most part, right? New team, especially with the new quarterback, I should say. Same coach, new QB. Cam Ward, he's reminding me a little bit better version of AR in some ways right now, where you'll see that spectacular play where, you should never run to one sideline and then throw it back on the other, but it was a touchdown. It was amazing. But then, a drive or two later, he ends up running a little too much and fumbles the ball. But the running game's effective. Tony Pollard had 92 yards last week at 4 yards per carry. And Cam Ward was 19 of 33, and he doesn't really – the picks aren't the problem. They get sacked a lot. 11 times the Tennessee Titans have been sacked. Saw this with Caleb Williams last year in Chicago. be the most sacked QB in the league in a long time. That could be an issue, and you never want your QB, especially a rookie number 1 pick, like Caleb, taking that many hits. So Colts 2-0, Jags 1-1. They play the 0-2 Texans, and then the Titans and the Colts face off in Tennessee. I am calling that a must-win for Tennessee. You can't go to 0-3 and lose a division game at home. If you get to 1-2, the best is 2-1 in that division. If the Colts are 3-0 with the win over you in your home field, you're in the A. You know how that goes. And that is your state of the AFC South.
It's time to get those toes on the line with your host, Joey Nips.
Haven't done that in a while, right, folks? We are toeing the line, and let me tell you why I'm pissed off today. We've seen it a lot, and for you fantasy football owners out there, we really get pissed off about this, but so do we with our favorite teams. The backup quarterbacks coming into effect already in week 3 is alarming, not only in fantasy football, but for these teams who have to deal with it. I mean, Burrow out for 3 months, may miss the season, surgery needed. McCarthy out 2 to 4 weeks. Carson Wentz, welcome him back into the National Football League as a starter. Brock Purdy's been out. We had Mac Jones in. Luckily, they have Shanahan. Maybe they can make that work a little bit. Fields, now he played like he was a little bit out last week, but they're going to probably have to go. Not probably, they are going to have to go to the backup in Tyrod Taylor, and then Jaden Daniels. They listed as questionable, but it's looking like doubtful from the latest reports, and that would be Marcus Mariota. So I don't know. It's amazing to me that they keep making things easier for quarterbacks, yet we see these injuries. And it leads into a little bit bigger point of mine, and I always argue that this with one of my roommates. I'm the smarter one and better looking. But anyways, back to it. Too many injuries. People think preseason's a joke. You got to get reps in training camp and preseason, because a lot of times you get these freak accidents because your body wasn't revving up as much as you're used to. And then the regular season hits and bam, everyone's going. Look at all these injuries. I guarantee you, if you pull out the statistics and do some math and research, we're not really getting any better. At least it seems to me. I mean, in the most important position in sport, quarterback, we already have 5-6 guys probably out this weekend. Something just really wants me to pop my lid, and I hope for all teams in the league, just not in mine. Everybody else, they stay healthy. You know, we saw between the teams with the Buccaneers, Baker, he got a little hobbled up. Danny Dimes has some injury history. There's just a lot. Caleb Williams, I mentioned from Chicago, most sack guy. It's a lot that could happen. We want these QBs on the field. We want to see the best versus the best. Of course, we never apologize for winning, but every time we want to see your best versus our best, and let's get at it. Because when it comes playoff time, that is what happens most, if not all of the time. And that's what I am towing the line on this week.
It's time for Sweet Treat with Sundae and Joey Nips.
Oh, a sweet treat. Yeah, no. Brock Lesnar keeps looking at me. By the way, WrestlePalooza, ESPN this weekend, him versus John Cena for the last time ever. But Sunday, I told it in week 1 and week 2. Arizona, if you looked at their schedule, they started with the Saints, then they played Carolina in their home opener, 2-0. Now, that's where the Sunday stops for them, I think, because they're at San Fran this week, and I don't care about a backup quarterback. I need Arizona to prove it in a harder environment, even though they are up against Mac Jones. What I'm looking at is there's 3 teams. I brought it up earlier. I said 2-0 versus 0-2, like Buffalo and Miami. The Colts, the Bucs, and the Packers. All 3 of those teams, what do they have in common? They play 0-2 teams. You cannot overlook these games and mess up. The statistics of starting 3-0 or 0-3, making and not playing, making the playoffs, are huge leaps and bounds from 1-2 and 2-1, where there could be a lot of recovery. So just because we're all favorites in these games, the Colts have Tennessee where they're 4.5-point favorites. Bucs 6.5 currently right now with the Jets, and then the Packers play Cleveland where it's probably 1 million points, but it's actually 7.5. You can't overlook it. I'm not saying they're all winning Sunday, but they right now get a little early scoop of ice cream, because if they do what they're supposed to do, they go in with the right mentality and kick some ass, they can get to 3-0. And like I said, it's just stats and facts. The percentages show you start 3-0, Ooh, you ain't just getting that Sunday, my friend, on Sunday night. I'm bringing you a whole tub of butter with the ice cream, with more on top of it. And we get it all excited and partying. And that's where the potential Sundays land.
It's time for some locker room talk. The closeout with Joey Nips.
Now, listen, I mentioned it a little bit. I'm a big wrestling fan, right? I just want to say 2 great pay-per-views on Saturday afternoon. AEW All Out during the day, WWE WrestlePalooza at night, first pay-per-view on ESPN. And I'm going to have a great time with college football. That on another screen, have multiple lined up. And I am just going to chill out Saturday. Push the woman away, push the duties away for other things you might have to do, because there's good college football. There's a lot of good WWE. And hey, let's end locker room talk with Monday Night Football. Detroit and Baltimore. The last couple of years, Super Bowl contenders. This year, we think both of those teams are again after the Lions put up 50 plus on Chicago. Mike Ditka. Bears too. I think they get a win this week against Dallas, bringing them up. But they're 0-2 right now. But I do like that little treat nugget. And then Baltimore, Lamar Jackson at home. They just, them and Derrick Henry took care of Cleveland, put up 41. They said, Cleveland defenders, stop talking. We don't have to run it to Henry. Lamar will get the job done. My point is a lot of great stuff on this weekend outside of the great NFL Sunday. Get ready with it all between Saturday wrestling and college football and a beautiful Monday night game. Let's get it on and end week 3 of Toe in the Line, ladies and gentlemen.
Bro, we'll put it like that.
Nice.
What's it like? I was actually there in attendance in Cleveland for Coe's first career NFL touchdown, which was awesome. And,
Awesome.
it was a great game. You could hear me on camera. I was just screaming, "Say it ain't so, Coe! Say it ain't so!" Sadly, from there, the game kind of went off the rails a little. That was the last high moment of that game, but it was a great game. Overtime loss, fun time.
Yeah.
But how was that moment for you? Seeing the first, whether it was on TV, in person, wherever you were, seeing his first NFL touchdown. How was that?
Well, dude, I mean, we were at home because it was a away game. We don't travel to a lot of the away games because we can get into that later. But, to watch that and to think I wished I was there live. So to have your video was so cool. And just that, this is so cool. I mean, that was so cool for us. Catching it from Tom Brady, right? Like, he's got the ball yet. I mean, first NFL touchdown means a lot, right? I mean, as a dad, that's just so cool to see. And it was fun to watch. And, it didn't have the outcome we wanted, but still the same. What a memory. What a memory to have, right? So,
and honestly,
cool.
those one of the best guests ever, the Buccateers in the house. You guys hear him on Tampa radio all the time. He's one of the best in the business. My favorite personal in the business. That's why I'm elated tonight. Growing up in the Chicago area, you're used to sports radio. That's what gets me through the day. So this man does help get me through the day, I will say, with the Pat and Aaron show at work. Nothing like it. So it's incredible. It looks like we got Stunna bumbling in. I'm Tampa Tones. We are joined by lead goon tonight, host of the Pat and Aaron show of WDAE, Pat Donovan. And it sounds like Stunna is bumbling a little bit. Gonna put him on mute for a second until that gets a little clear. But we're joined by Pat
It looks like
Donovan.
Stunna's hanging out with Cheech and Chong in a car with the windows up or something over there.
It does look like he got a little.
No, my camera's broke.
And he was trying to pull me in big time. And then I was like, hey, nothing's happened with Indianapolis yet. Like, I really want to give Indy a chance. And then also I talked to Cody Gruden, once he took over Rich McCann and still like, well, look, I was like, y'all just give me the opportunity to explore free agency, see what's going on, and then kind of make us do it.
All right, everyone, you are tuned into the Buccateers, a wide receiver Kalen Geiger, and we are about to have a great pod. This is the Buccateers. You're tapped in, and here we go.